Live, love, and lead. From the president of the country to the president of Fathers Union, Samuel A. Bakutana, your host, a certified executive coach, an award-winning leadership consultant, a global speaker, and an author. It's my pleasure to be with you today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are watching from around the world, different time zones. This is the Inspired Family Leader Program, where we seek to encourage, empower, inspire, motivate, challenge men to expand, to elongate, to stretch beyond the limits their own capacity to lead their families well. So that maybe if one family and another family and another family, if these different families are led well, we may have community transformation. We may have national transformation. And today we are focusing on the topic of becoming an involved father. Becoming an involved father. Different scenarios. Scenario number one, you have a man, you have a father who is physically absent from his own family. He's not there. He wakes up very early in the morning at 5 a.m. or at 6, goes away, comes back in the night at midnight, never sees his children apart from around the weekend, never gets time to chat with them, and so on and so forth. Scenario number two, a father who is actually there, physically present, but really absent, there on his phone, there at home on his laptop, there at home watching the news, there at home reading newspapers. So while others are talking about absenteeism, with that man we are talking about presentism. Present but absent. There is a third category of the man we are talking about today. The one who is physically present and emotionally present, but takes a third step of being involved and engaged with his children. That's the man we are talking about today. And to talk about that topic, this conversation, I have in the studio my brother, my fellow leader, my co-worker, a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, speaker, and trainer, Jesse Ainebyoona. My brother Jesse, you are very welcome.
Thank you, Samuel.
How are you doing?
Awesome.
What does awesome mean in this context?
Yeah, I feel delighted first and foremost to be
Yes.
on the show for the first time as a guest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've been here as a host,
Yeah, some
but not
time
as a
ago.
guest. And I'm so delighted to be here.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited about my role as a father.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday in the morning I had a meeting somewhere
Yes.
for some different leaders. So I was invited. We were about 20 of us in the room
Yeah.
from different entities, quite a high level meeting on national issues. So when I entered the room like this, the organizer quickly said, the husband of charity is here. And I quickly said, thank you for identifying me by my role of husband. I love it.
Yes.
Not saying CEO Inspired Leaders is here and so on and so forth,
Yes.
but saying the husband. So also when you talk about being excited due to the opportunity to be called father, I identify with you in that.
Yeah.
So for the viewers who are watching us, please go right ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself and your family.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Jesse Ainebyoona, as Samuel has already mentioned. Professionally, I trained as a mechanical engineer. Currently, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a speaker, and I'm an upcoming author. I'm also a trainer who trains people in different aspects in sales, customer service, public speaking, personal financial management, to mention but a few. I am married. My wife is called Diana, and together we are blessed with 2 daughters. One is called Ruby, who is 5, and Moriah, who is 3. I'm very excited about my involvement in the family because at the end of the day, we start the day in the family, we end the day with the family. We start life from the family and we go through life in the family. So you cannot separate family from your life because it's a critical component of your life. I also volunteer with the children's ministry at All Saints Cathedral, Kampala, where my wife and I serve in the children's ministry. We are also involved in the couples ministry. So if you're involved with couples and you're also involved with children, clearly you can see that is the heart of the family.
Indeed.
I'm excited to be here. I volunteer with Rotary International. I'm a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Kampala West, and I'm also a Toastmaster, leading the Toastmaster activities in Uganda currently as the division director that covers Uganda zone. So I'm delighted to be here, and I look forward to this conversation on being involved as a father.
And you say you say that you are involved in the children's ministry. You are involved. You are with couples. You are involved with Toastmasters. You are involved with the. You've used that word involved a number of times.
Yes.
About 3 or 4 times in the last less than 1 minute.
Yes.
And you see, that's the topic of this evening. Involvement.
Yes.
Involvement.
Yes.
Being engaged.
Yes.
And you see, we have had the opportunity of being given a mandate of leadership.
Yes.
Being given that responsibility of leading our homes as fathers, but also generally as professionals, you and I, leading in the marketplace wherever we are, at Toastmasters, leading
Yes.
at Rotary,
Yes.
leading at Inspired Leaders International, where you've been serving with us for some time.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about leadership, and this being a family leadership program,
Yes.
in your view, in your own words, from your own perspective,
Yeah.
what would you say leadership is?
Leadership. When I think about leadership, I think about 3 things. The first is, as a leader, there is the aspect of giving strategy,
Yes.
giving direction to things.
Yes.
So, in other words, as a leader, I must be forward-looking.
Forward-looking.
I must have a vision.
Yes.
I must communicate that vision to the people that I'm leading. I'm leading in my family, I give them vision.
Yes.
5 to 10 years from now, this is where we want to be. In Toastmasters, I give direction. That is my role as a leader.
Yes.
The second is my role as a leader involves being an influence, being of great influence. It
Yes.
can be through my example, through the way I communicate, but influencing, being an influence.
Being
Things-
the reason why some people are doing things the way they are doing them.
Exactly. And sometimes you may not even know, and that's why anyone can be a leader regardless of the title that you hold.
Yes.
Because there is someone that is watching you. There is someone that is following you on social media. They just look at you from a distance. You even have no clue, but someone is watching you. And because of the
Beginning
way
with your children at home.
Exactly. Thank you. Beginning with the way you carry yourself, someone is watching you from a distance and you are shaping their lives. They are doing everything they are doing because
Yeah.
of the example they are seeing in you.
Somebody sent me a message this morning. One of the viewers of this program, a lady that I didn't know was watching, and she said, "My husband and I
Yes.
are always glued onto this television station at that time of your program.
Yes.
You have helped us. We are following, we are learning, we
Yes.
are getting better." Did I know that they were doing that? So influence,
Yeah.
even when you are not aware.
Even when you're not aware. And that's why I just want to say, regardless of the fact that you have a title or
Yes,
not,
yes.
just be a good example. You are a leader.
Okay.
And the third
So,
thing is
giving direction,
Uh-huh.
being a person of influence,
Yes.
and
producing positive impact.
okay,
Yeah. So you must produce results. You must take people from place A to place B. Things must get better because of your involvement with them.
not in spite of your involvement.
Not in spite, but because of you, the organization is better.
Yes.
Because of you, the children are better. Because of you, the community is better. In my opinion, that is leadership.
Direction, influence, and impact.
Yes.
If you can give direction,
Yes.
if you can be a person of influence through example, through demonstration of how things should be done,
Yeah.
and if you can be able to produce positive impact in the
Yes.
lives of others,
Yes.
according to you,
Yes.
you are a leader.
And maybe if I may just add just one little thing that has just come to my mind. As you do all these things, you notice that the people that you are leading will get better in the process. And so I would say, in addition to this, the people that you are leading will get better. So developing people.
Okay.
Developing people. Children getting better because of your involvement.
Yes.
The people that
Not
you're leading,
bitter. Better but not bitter.
Exactly. So they get better because you are developing them to become better people and achieve better results. So whoever is involved in this mix,
Yes.
inevitably will come out better.
Yeah.
Because of you. Yeah.
Positive trait that you are living.
Absolutely.
Okay. Direction, influence, and impact.
Yes.
Direction, influence, and impact. We can't talk about leadership without talking about direction. We can't talk about leadership without talking about influence. We can't talk about leadership without talking about impact. And this goes to all spheres of influence, goes to every aspect of our life, whether leading at home as men or leading in the community, in workplaces, in the nation, all over the place. Now, coming to our topic of the day,
Yes.
becoming an involved father.
Yeah.
Let's break this down a little bit more. When we say involved, what does that mean?
I'm tempted to say involved means being involved. But
A Bunsen burner is a burner that burns Bunsenically in
Yes.
a Bunsenic form.
But just to break it down, maybe in two things. One, it is being active. So the opposite of that would be being passive.
Yes.
So being involved would mean that you are active in the day-to-day operation of your role as a father. You
Yes.
are active. So you are not operating on remote. You are involved. You are doing life with them. You are gelling.
Yes.
You are connecting. You are doing life. So
You
I
are
want to
active.
say being active and being present. Those are the two things that would define involvement for me. That
Yes.
we are doing life together. So I'm in your life, you are in my life, you know what I'm thinking, you know what I'm working on,
Yes.
you know where my thought train is. We are engaged.
What I'm going on, what's happening in my life,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And you say that involvement is being active and being present.
Yes.
If we were to inject in a sense of chronology and order, I think we would say being present and being active.
Thank you.
Because I think you can't be active unless you're there present. So you
Yes.
will first become present.
Yes. And then you will be active.
Then you can be active.
Right,
And I
so.
think here we are talking about physical presence, right?
Yes.
If you're present, then you can become active
Yes.
in your role
Yes.
as a father. Since
Yes.
specifically today we are focusing on becoming an involved father.
Yes.
So this is in reference to my children
Yes.
as a father. All right. So a father being involved
Yeah.
in his children's lives. A father being not only present but also active in his role as a father. What makes this important?
What makes this important is that God has given us a mandate. The mandate is in Ephesians 6:4 that says, fathers, do not exasperate your children. The second part is what I want to dwell on. Bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord.
Okay.
That simply means that we have been given a mandate. We have been given an assignment to train our children.
We the fathers.
We the fathers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you think about training,
Yeah.
there are skills I have learned with the help of a trainer. Two things come quickly to mind. One is learning how to drive a car.
Okay.
Another one is learning how to swim. On both occasions,
Yes.
there was a trainer
Yes.
involved in the process. The trainer was actively involved with me.
He didn't go away and give you a call and say,
say-
go to the swimming pool
and
and
then-
somehow dive into it.
No.
And things will work out and he
No.
switches off the phone.
No.
He was by the side of the pool or
Thank you.
probably in the pool,
Yes.
saying now, flap the feet.
Yeah.
Go down, don't breathe.
Yes. And exactly, specifically with the swimming,
Yes.
the way I would see him push himself off the swimming pool edge,
Yes.
and then the way he would stretch his arms, I would most of the time do what I would see him do.
Not even what he
Not
said
what
you
he
should do,
said.
but what you saw
What
him
I saw.
do.
Exactly. So same thing, that in life there are certain things which are not taught, but they are caught.
Yes.
So they
Not taught,
they are not taught,
but caught.
they are caught.
In other words, you don't get them by listening to somebody telling you about them,
Yes.
but you get them by watching somebody demonstrate them.
Thank you. So that's why we need to be involved. So when you think about training,
Yes.
if we are going to train children, we cannot train them if we are not actively involved,
Yes.
if we are not present,
Yes.
if we are not engaged. We shall just be telling, and children will not follow our advice, they will follow our example.
Say that again.
Children will not follow our advice, they will follow our example. So we need to be involved, we need to be engaged, we need to do life with them so that they can be able to see
Yes.
what exactly we are doing and copy exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is important for us to be involved fathers, because it's only then when we are involved
Yes.
that we will be able to train our children
Yes.
and instruct them in the right way to go, largely by example.
Yes.
Powerful. So somebody may ask, but my wife is there. My wife is available.
Yes.
My wife is present.
Yes.
For me, I am busy. I am looking for money for school fees, for rent, for, depending on the needs of that family and that man who is watching.
Yes.
I have conferences to attend. At the workplace, my boss delegated me to go and attend this other seminar on behalf of the organization. I am a busy father. I'm a busy man. But don't mind, my wife is there. My wife is available. So for that kind of a man, he says, isn't that enough? What is so special about particularly a father's involvement
Yes.
in the life of a child? If the mother is there, what's so special about the father also getting there?
Yes. Great. So God has given us roles. We all have roles in the family. There is the role of a mother, and there is a role of a father. At home, we have this common phrase that we use, my wife and I, that let us not mix up issues.
Let us not mix up issues.
Let us not mix up issues. So let us not mix up the role of a mother and the role of a father. And of course, when you spell out these roles, it looks like, but a woman can do this, but a mother can do this. I think largely a mother does well with nurturing.
Yes, nurturing.
Nurturing. A mother does well.
Which is much more needed at the very early stages of a child's life.
Thank you. But as the child grows, they need that firm voice. They need that strong hand upon them to guide them, to train them,
Yes.
to correct them, to give them direction,
To instruct them.
to instruct them.
To discipline them.
Thank you. Now, there is a profound truth about children and their identity. And this is how it goes. That a child's self-image and identity are developed by what their father thinks about them.
If you don't mind, repeat that statement.
A child's self-image and identity
Yes.
are shaped by what they believe their dad thinks about them.
Okay.
I have seen families where the mother did everything except one thing, that the father was not present.
You said the sense of identity and
self-image.
self-image.
Yes.
Okay.
That comes from what they believe their father thinks about them. So there is a role that a father does. A mother will do her best to do her role. But there is something a father does.
Yes.
When my father would tell me, my son, just that, I felt affirmed. Just that.
Because
I
believe you felt you belong to somewhere and somebody.
Thank
There
you.
is somebody calling you something
Yes.
that shows you belong to them.
Yes. And even as I say this, I am mindful that there are unfortunate situations that
Yes.
happen where a family only has a mother
Yeah.
for one reason or another, but there's only a mother. But even in that case, I believe there is still a place for a father figure
Yes.
to play the role of the father. There are certain things that a father does best, and one of them is that sense of self-esteem,
Yes.
that sense of identity, that sense of self-esteem
Yeah.
best comes from a father's involvement.
When he stands up
Yes.
and publicly says, "This is my beloved son,
Yes.
in whom I am well pleased."
Yes, it says a lot. Even to this day, I still remember times when we would mess up and then visitors would come home and my father would protect us and cover us. And I just felt the love. I just felt like my father loves me regardless.
That reminds me, how about those fathers who actually do not protect their children, but in public they shame them? The visitors come and,
Yes.
you hear the man saying, my son, he many times acts stupidly. You
Yeah.
just leave him. You go away.
Yeah.
Don't act foolish here. How about those kinds of fathers?
You will be interested to know that probably to this day, as we have this conversation, if something like that happened, they may not forget it.
Yes.
That shows you the depths to which a father's words
Yeah.
speak volumes to a child's esteem and identity and self-image.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, the mother may be available,
Yes.
but there is that special place of the father
Yes.
by virtue of the divine roles upon the life of a man.
Yes.
That what he thinks of the son,
Yes.
of the daughter,
Yes.
will shape their sense of self-image
Yes.
and their sense of identity.
Very true.
Wow.
I mean, even when we are young, when someone challenged you, you would say, I will call my father.
I will
Means,
tell daddy.
I will tell daddy. It's just natural. It just comes out because you know that daddy is the one who covers me.
Yes.
He can deal with anybody. So when a child lacks that,
Yes.
really, would you say I will call my mother?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, maybe you
Maybe
may.
yes, it depends upon
may-
the relationship you have with
Exactly.
your mother.
Yeah. But many
I
times.
heard about a young man who said, for me, when I grow up, I want to be a man like my mother.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, I've not made a mistake what I said.
Yes.
He said, when I grow up, I want to be a man like my mother.
Yeah.
Now, definitely, that's a dysfunctional situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, we are just being cognizant of the fact that fathers play their role,
Yes.
mothers play their role. We are
Yes.
not putting any above the
Not
other,
at all.
but we are simply saying mothers are doing their best.
Yes.
Fathers, let's level up, let's do our part. Our
Okay.
children need us.
Yes.
Yes.
So the mother does the nurturing.
Yes.
The father does the training and the instruction.
Yes.
So we can't say the mother is available. My wife is there. So even if I don't become involved and engaged and present and active, my wife is there. And by the way, this is a real situation happening. Let me tell you, 2 weeks ago, I was up country. I had traveled up country to speak in a convention. And I met one of these men who is actually one of my relatives. He has a shop in one of our local trading centers, and I entered his shop and greeted him. And we started to chat, and all of a sudden we were talking about matters of family, parenting, fatherhood. You know, just like I often do, I involve many men in those kinds of conversations. And he says, you see, Sam, for me, this head of mine you see, it doesn't have space for a million things. I have decided to focus my mind on a few things. And things like things of children, home, no. I left those to my wife. She can handle those things. I want to focus on a business because I'm here working for them. We really had a kind of a conversation in his shop
Yes.
that was quite interesting. So it happens. People say the wife is there. But just like we are hearing, it's not enough because there are roles, there are specific roles. And as a man, you give your children a sense of identity and a sense of self-image. That is so profound.
Thank you.
Now, having seen all this, I keep wondering, why do most men actually become uninvolved and disengaged from their children's lives? Is it because they don't know that this is important? Why do most men become too busy to be involved in the lives of their children?
Okay. First off, I will say that I've seen situations where some men just get this thing right. I think sometimes, most of the time actually, it comes from the way we were raised.
Upbringing.
Yes, upbringing.
Yes.
If you were raised by parents that were available, they were present, they were active, they were involved, they were engaged,
Yeah.
most likely that's what you know.
Most likely.
Yeah, so we naturally teach what we know and we reproduce who we are.
We teach what we know
Uh-huh.
and reproduce who we are.
Thank you. So I have seen fathers who are just plugged in. They are just involved. But what that also means is that there are others who do not know any better.
They are unplugged,
They are unplugged.
uninvolved,
They don't know
disengaged,
that they don't know.
out of sync.
Yes. And I think for some time that was me. Yeah. I did not know how to be home.
Time for confession.
Whenever I would be at home and I would always feel like I'm in the wrong place. Like I have
Oh,
to
no.
I need to be somewhere.
You feel that you are in the wrong place
Yes.
whenever you are in your own home.
Yes, especially like
That
during
is
the day.
something, yes.
I had this subconscious feel that as a man, I'm supposed to be out there working. The only time I should be home is in the evening and
When you are
maybe
ready
on a
to sleep.
Sunday. You know? But these other days, I felt like, no, I shouldn't be here.
So did that have something to do with how you were brought up?
Partly because my father modeled a work ethic of
Okay.
a man going out to work.
Yes.
So that's what I knew.
Okay.
So probably most men are coming from a place where you're thinking, I need to be out working. And that is right, because as a man, you are a provider. And we
Yes.
need to provide.
Yes.
But I think sometimes we take this over the bar.
We
whereby-
fail to know that we also provide time. We don't just provide school fees and food. We provide time. We provide emotional support. We
Yes.
provide the listening ear.
Yes.
We provide the tap on the back of our
Yes.
daughters. We provide the lifting of our son in the air, especially when they are still young. We provide that time to just listen to your teenage son or your young adult son and give advice,
Yes.
share your experience as a mentor.
Yes, so the fact that we fail to notice that provision goes beyond the physical resources to these other things that you have rightly explained, I think that can be another thing that can hinder us. And then we also have these things that we prioritize over our roles as fathers. We love things like football. I mean, there is last weekend we had Arsenal, Liverpool.
Hey, don't talk
Any
about
man
soccer.
would want to watch that game, you know?
Man U,
Exactly.
Newcastle.
Yeah. So there is that, and then we all have our passions, the things
Yes.
that we love to do. Maybe you volunteer at a club somewhere, or maybe you love to play golf.
Yes.
Maybe for you it is entertainment.
Yeah.
We all have our darlings that we sometimes put on top of our roles in the home.
Yes.
And then to make this even very interesting, you might have a wife who has taken on the role and says, look, now if he's not doing it, I'm not going to watch.
Yes, I will
And so-
replace him.
Exactly. So she takes on the role, and the man feels like it's being taken care of.
Yeah, that one is sorted.
So that one is
And
sorted.
even the wife is saying, I am doing it.
I'm on, you
Yes.
know, I have my hands on the ball.
I had a woman introduce herself. She said, I am so and so. I work here and there. I am a wife, but also I am a mother and a father.
Yes.
And I looked at her.
Oh yeah, there's this joke that went around on Father's Day where, you know, women were sending each other
Yes.
Happy Father's Day. So,
Oh.
yes, because they are the fathers.
Okay.
In some cases.
They are the fathers, or they are playing the role of fathers?
They have taken on the role of the fathers.
Okay.
So Happy Father's Day.
Do you think that's wisdom, or
I think it's not right. We need to clarify the roles and
you don't
hold them.
replace?
No,
you
you don't.
instead grow your skills and capacity of being a helper.
Yes.
Recently, I challenged a friend of mine, a lady. I said, by the way, if you've spent all these years with your husband, but he still looks a helpless man who can't do anything, instead of only looking at him and saying he is a failure, could it be that you need to look in the mirror and say, probably you have failed in your role of a helper?
Yeah.
Because he looks helpless,
Yes.
but you are the helper.
Yeah. And Sam, now that you're at this,
Yes.
I think, come to think about it, the wife is a helper to the man.
Yes.
And so if this man is not taking up his role as a father, there is a place for the woman to help the man
Yes.
to take up this role.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's one thing I appreciate my wife Diana so much.
Okay.
Because the things I'm doing now
Yes.
are because of her.
Take this sweet for her. For playing a good role in helping you to play your
Yes.
role.
The things I do now are because of her gentle nudge.
Did you say gentle?
Yeah, and intentionally.
If it was not gentle, how do you think you would have responded? Because
I
that
would
helps a
have
lot.
probably-
You find a woman who is. But you are supposed to be a priest of our home. But
Yes.
now see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
gentle nudge.
Yeah. So in that case, she can gather the children and say, Daddy, lead us in the prayer. Ha. Now the man will pray.
Yes.
Okay.
He won't say, you
Yes.
pray.
Ha. She would say, today you're taking the girls for swimming. We
So
go.
a gentle nudge
gentle
that
nudge.
helps the man to rise up to his role,
Exactly.
while this woman is now actually playing her role of a
Yes.
helper.
You don't do it by being critical.
Yes.
What kind of man are you?
Yes.
What are you working for?
Don't you see Daddy James,
Aha.
how he's doing things?
You say you are working to provide for your children, but you are not there. No,
Yes.
no. That's not the kind of help we are talking about.
Yeah.
Gently.
You can't criticize and inspire at the same time.
No, you can't.
You choose one.
No, you
Whether you
can't.
will inspire him
Yes.
or you will criticize him.
Yes. Pray for him and gently nudge him, encourage him. and give him those alternatives.
So in other words, you're saying that most men become disengaged and uninvolved in their children's lives, number one, because of their upbringing, what they saw their fathers doing and other men around them. Number two, because of being taken away by different priorities, you know, like soccer and all these other things. But also number three, different passions and interests that they are involved in, like volunteering in service organizations, to mention but a few. So I would like you to look in that camera and speak to that father. Let him know the consequences of not being involved in the lives of his children.
Wow, the consequences are humongous. There are many. But the first is the child lacks self-esteem. The child does not believe in themselves. A child will look for things, and you'll see them. Sometimes we go on social media to find identity because we did not get it from our parents, from our father specifically. Secondly, this child is going to just grow, you know, like a wild crop. So those are people who do not respect others, because we learn how to respect authorities by respecting our parents, respecting our fathers, and respecting our mothers. A child will have no mannerisms, you know, because they were never corrected. And a child is corrected in real time. You know, it happens. If you are present, you correct it. It doesn't happen on Wednesday and then you sit on Sunday afternoon and then you recount all the events of the week and you say, now you remember what happened on Monday evening when you did this on the table? That's not what we do. No, we need to be present so that we can correct. So these are things that are going to happen when a child is not, when you're not involved with a child. But even the other thing is that part of lacking self-identity and self-esteem is that a child then ends up making incorrect career choices. You know, because a child was never helped to discover themselves. They were never helped to know what they are good at and what it is they can do. But I've also seen parents who are so busy in church and the child has gone off track, not because they are not going to church, but because no one is engaging them to know how are you taking to heart the things you're learning from the Bible or from church. So those are some of the things that begin to happen when a father is not involved with the child. The child will still grow, but they will just grow wild.
I hope you got that clearly, our dear viewers. When you do not get involved in the life of your children, a lot of trouble will happen.
Sam, recently, we went visiting somewhere and there were some boys who, you know, it was mealtime, so they served them food, but they still kept getting the food from the main table. And the parents kept on saying, so let's call the boys, let's say the boy is Ian.
Yes.
Ian, your food is here. Ian. And Ian would go back. This went on like maybe 10 times. And clearly the child was acting out what always happens.
Yes.
It was not difficult to tell
that
this child lacks correction.
Okay.
A parent should tell their child once.
And then
beyond
on the
that,
second time?
There will be a time in life where you need to listen to one instruction. And if you don't heed, that could lead to death.
So therefore, as parents, especially as fathers, we also need to train our children in how to listen for instruction once.
I mean, just before this show, the president was giving guidelines.
Yes.
So if you don't heed those instructions, the LDUs will help you to understand them.
Unit.
Yes, will help you to understand them. So in life, there are situations where you need to listen once. If you wait for the second voice, you will be in jail. Or you may never live long enough to hear the second one.
Just say you have to tell me what I should do on the second time. You are not answering that question.
On the second
I'll tell
time,
him once.
yes.
If he does it again, what happens?
We have the authority to discipline our children.
Okay.
In our family, what we do, when the child does not listen, we take them to the bedroom and we discipline them.
Why are we taking them to the bedroom?
Because it's a private place. We don't want to do this in public and shame them.
Maybe you mean if there is a visitor in the sitting room.
Yeah, but for us, we have used that as a way of disciplining them. Because it's not just about disciplining. It's about helping them to understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Okay.
You want to help them to understand that it's important that when daddy calls you, you listen. He doesn't have to say this twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you as a dad who has to always say, specific instructions 10 times before your children can consider listening to those instructions next time. What do you think you're not doing right? Think about that. And now that you are already telling us about Ruby and Moriah,
Yes.
your daughters,
Yes.
taking them to the bedroom and you speak, you have... Share with us a few more.
Yes.
So what are some of the other things you've done to be involved as a father in your children's lives?
Okay. So I
Just
think
briefly, I see we
just
have
briefly.
about
All
7
right.
minutes or so to come to the end of the program.
Yeah, I think this depends on where they are at this point in time.
Yes.
Our children are young.
Yes.
So
you said
They-
one
they
of
are-
them
one
is
is
6,
5, another one is 3.
Okay.
So I have had to intentionally be involved with them in activities that appeal to them where they are.
Okay.
I have learned how to read them stories and really animate them.
Really animate them.
Really animate them.
I am now imagining.
Yes. When we tell the story of Noah, I take time to read it.
I am now imagining you talking about
Oh,
Goliath.
yes. Oh, yes.
Goliath who killed David.
Oh, yes.
I'm wondering how you do your chest
Yes.
to show that he was a strong man.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about the story of Noah and how he built a big ark and people laughed at him.
Yes.
And I said, let us laugh at him the way they were laughing at him. And they went all over the house laughing, saying this is how they laughed at Noah. And it was just fun,
Yes.
you know? So one is just engaging with them in activities where they are.
So you've read stories for
Read
them.
stories with them. But the other thing is now they are doing swimming.
Yes.
Once in a while when I'm there, I take them. And so we go together in the car, we're having conversations. So they swim, and when they do it, I give them a thumbs up. That is
Yes.
good, you're doing well, nice, well done. So that kind of thing. So just being involved in that. If it happens that one of them is not feeling well, specifically yesterday, Mariah had something slight on her ear and had to take her to the medical center.
Yes.
And after this whole conversation with the doctor, the ped, she said something and said, thank you for being there for your daughters.
Huh.
And this just led to a whole conversation
Yes.
about her own involvement with her father. And she told me, whenever you have such an opportunity, bring them to hospital, take them to school,
Yes.
You know,
attend their open
their
days
sports
at school
day,
and-
go with them to the football, even if you don't understand the game, just to go there. Just go there. In that regard, and I know she must be watching, Diana's mother,
Yes.
my mother-in-law, she was recognized by All Saints as the most, I think, available mother. Because whenever there was something at church, she would be there, just watching them, just being there with the children. So picking a leaf in being present for everything they do, even if you don't understand it,
Yes.
just be present.
Because for them, they understand it,
Yes.
they appreciate it,
Yes.
and they see it as important.
Yes. But the other thing that I have learned is talking with the children. In other words, having conversations.
Yes.
Oh my, this has been, I think for me, this is the game changer. One time I was lotioning the younger daughter, 3 years old. So as I'm lotioning her after sharing her, she asks me, Daddy, who gave you that ring?
The wedding ring.
Yes.
Who gave you
this
this ring?
ring? I said, Mommy gave me the ring. Then she asked, who gave Mommy her ring? So I think she had also watched
Yes.
that Mommy puts on a ring.
ring.
So who gave Mommy her ring? I said, I gave her the ring.
Huh?
After about 3 seconds, she says, so does it mean when someone gives you a ring, you are now married? 3-year-old reaches that conclusion.
Yes.
And that led us to a whole conversation.
Wow.
Just a conversation about rings and you know what that means.
Yes.
So we take her to daycare where she goes to play. It's called play group. The other day we had a conversation of about 30 minutes. Just talking to her. How was school today? Who came to school today? What did you do? Of all the activities you do, swinging, playing in the sand, drawing, coloring, which one do you like? Why do you like it? You know, we just had one thing after another, and it was just nice. A conversation with a 3-year-old for 30 minutes.
Yes.
It was just interesting. I loved it.
Yes.
So you can be involved by having conversations in the car. You know, switch off the radio. Talk to the children. Ask them, what do those lights mean? You know, those are policemen. What do they do in our society? You know, let them just talk about anything.
Yes.
That's I think for me that has been helpful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. So if my father did not model for me how to be involved in
Yes.
children's lives.
Yes.
And now I have grown up to also be a father with children.
Yeah.
How do I learn to be involved? I never saw it. So how do I learn? Briefly,
Yeah.
in just a minute, as we come to the close of the conversation.
Thank you. I think first of all we must take away the self-pity concept
Yes.
and stop the victim mindset and stop being prisoners of our past. We cannot go through life saying I didn't have this privilege, therefore I can't do it. No.
Yes.
Everything you now know, you have learned. In the same way, you can learn.
Yes.
You can learn.
Everything you now know,
You
you
have
have
learned.
learned.
Yeah.
So you can also learn a few more things.
Exactly.
Including how to be involved in your children's lives.
Exactly. And it's not hard.
Yes.
It is just a matter of making a resolution. Make a resolution and then prioritize them. Then include them in your schedule. If you're going for your own activity, the other day we had an activity, a Toastmaster activity, and I just said, you know what, let's go together. I mean, this is where I'm involved, but I said, let's just go together. Someone was celebrating 10 years, and I said, let's just go together.
Yeah.
Go with daddy.
I'm going with mine tomorrow somewhere
Yes.
for half a day.
Exactly. Just go with them. You know, like your handbag or like your briefcase. Just tag with them. If you're going to the farm, go with them. Just go with them anywhere. But also tap into their interests. What are their hobbies? And then see how you can blend into that.
Yes.
So align some activities that can enable you to gel, to spend more time with them. Identify some activities that you can do together. If that is hard, connect with some families. You know, just last evening we have these family friends that we came together with and we organized a bonfire. You know, yeah, so we put up a projector,
Yes.
we watched a movie,
Yes.
put up a fire. We didn't have to go out of Kampala. This was within the heart of the city.
Yes.
You know, so there are so many ways we can do
How
this.
come
but
you didn't invite me?
Well.
You know I like those things.
Yeah, so-
And you're my friend.
So there are so many things that team up with your wife and ask what can we do together with our children.
Yes.
Read a book together if at all they are into books.
Yes.
Tap into their interests and then begin to do life together. Just do things together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, especially our fellow fathers, it is important for us to be involved in the lives of our children. I will say that statement that Jesse said about 20 minutes ago, a statement that he often speaks out together with his wife Diana. Let us not mix up issues. Let us not mix up issues. They are roles for the mothers, they are roles for the father. So if there is a role that you and I are supposed to be playing as fathers in the lives of our children, let us not relegate it to the periphery. Let us not abdicate our responsibility. Let us rise up, stand up, and play that role to the best of our abilities. Be involved in the lives of our own children. They don't have any other father. Don't make your children orphans when you are still alive. Get engaged, get involved, get present, and be active in their lives. And we have had those awesome tips. You know, one, make a resolution that from today onwards, you're going to be involved in the lives of your children meaningfully. Number two, prioritize those children in your programming. And once you prioritize them, number three, involve them in your schedule. Involve them in your activities. Go with them here and there. Number four, tap into their interests. Know what they are interested in and tag along. Be interested in what they are interested in. Tap into it. Those are opportunities to be with them. Number five, do activities together, because that bonds you together, that gives you opportunities to chat, to converse, to jazz, to get to know what is going on. At the end of the day, we have to stop being prisoners of our past, being prisoners of the things that happened in our lives. What an awesome moment we have had talking about these things. What is your parting shot in just 10 seconds?
Wow. In 10 seconds, I would just say, fathers, let us not abdicate our responsibilities. Let us own them. Let us take them up with gusto, with enthusiasm. Let us understand that your role as a father is part of your job description. If you have a business, thank you. You have a job, you have a role somewhere in an organization. Now your family cannot afford to be a part-time thing. You are a father. That is a job. You have a job description. Incorporate it into your schedule. Don't do it out of convenience. Do it out of commitment. Thank you.
Don't do it out of convenience. Do it out of commitment. Don't do it out of convenience. Do it out of commitment. Your success at the workplace as a father does not replace your failure at home. Family leadership is hard work. Go and do your best. This has been the Inspired Family Leader Program with Samuel A. Bakutana, your host, CEO, Inspired Leaders International, certified executive coach, award-winning leadership consultant, global speaker and author, president of the Fathers Union. And today we have talked about being an active and involved father. Go and do what you know you must do. Until next time, live, love, and lead. Live exemplarily, love authentically, and lead relationally. God bless you.